So my name's Brandon, and I'm a used car dealer, and I have been one for 14 years now. And right now, I'm actually very concerned about my car dealership because we've been extremely slow in a period of time with the inventory that we have, where we shouldn't really be slow at all. It's just been sales have been hard to come by here lately. And what is very odd about the situation right now is I'm a car dealer that sells cars that are $5,000 and under. And traditionally throughout the year, at least over the last 14 years that I've been in business, and I'll walk through some of the cars that I actually have for sale right now. It's been a situation where when we've been able to buy a lot of cars and keep them in our price range of $5,000 and under, and our sweet spot stays right at like this $3,500 Toyota Camry, which is what I would prefer to have on my car lot. Toyota Camrys, I think, are great cars. If I can get them where I can sell them for like $3,000 to like $4,000, it's almost a guaranteed sale very quickly. And that car is actually sat for just a little bit. It's very, very rare for us, and it's making this car market very difficult for me as a small business owner, a used car dealership owner, to navigate, because we're going to auctions right now. And it seems like a lot of other dealers are having a similar situation where they're having a harder time actually selling their vehicles, so they're just not showing up at auctions. And I know I've seen all the numbers, all the data, where a lot of the new car manufacturer dealers, the franchise dealers, they're actually selling a lot of cars right now. And what that's doing is that's pushing a lot of trade-ins to us at these used car dealer auctions. And that's a big benefit. So when that happens, well, a lot of these car dealers will go and they should be able to buy a lot of cars for decent prices. And what I'm finding is for the trade-ins that I'm buying, the prices are going down, which they should be, unless, see, here's where the confusion comes in. With people pulling forward demand in a lot of these car purchases, well, we should see even on our end of the car market where, okay, sales should be going up. But I'm not experiencing that right now, and I know that a lot of other used car dealers are not experiencing that either, because a lot of these prices at these dealer auctions are being driven down in my range of product. And that's showing that, okay, a lot of these dealers just aren't showing up, and they're not trying to spend money right now. So I'm able to go in, and we're able to buy a lot of cars. If you've watched this channel at all, you know just a few weeks ago, we had almost no cars. We got hit by tax time, and we got wiped out. And now we've been able to go, and I think we have like 40, 45 cars for sale. And then if you look down there, we actually have a lot of cars in recon. We've been able to buy a lot of cars in the last 3 weeks, and we were very excited about this. And then we got a lot of these cars to our car lot, and now it's like we're not selling anything. I think Friday we sold 1 car, Saturday we sold 2. That's very weird for us. Even during like an off season, we'll still sell 5, 6 cars on a Saturday. Saturday is our busiest day. So now what we've decided to do is that we're going to start cutting a lot of our prices, because we feel like, okay, maybe it's a demand issue. Maybe it's a problem where consumers just don't have money. Maybe it's a problem where consumers, maybe they do have money, but they're not wanting to spend it right now because of all the uncertainty in the economy. So this is the kind of thing that we have to talk through. My sales manager and Alex, my mechanic, who buys a lot of cars for me, we actually had a meeting this morning to see what we need to do. And the crazy thing is, let's go back to this Camry is actually a good example. I'm not going to turn around and walk. I know it's weird that I'm walking backwards. It's because my signs are up here, and I'm not just trying to give away my dealership, not trying to sell you a car. I'm just trying to give you information, that's it. But we have this Camry that's $3,500. A month ago, if I had this same Camry sitting on my lot for the same price, it would be an instant sale. And it's like everything kind of got turned off. Now we got through tax time, and all the money went away from tax time, but still it's very weird that we're able to have inventory now that, from what I'm seeing, is cheaper than what we had 2 months ago. And then on top of that, I feel like the quality of the cars that we have right now are better than we had 2 months ago. And with better quality, better selection, and cheaper prices, our sales should be going up, and that's just not happening right now. And that's my worry for my dealership going forward, is that, yeah, we're going to be able to go in and buy cars and buy them for lower prices than what we have been able to buy them for over the last 12 months. And that's what I'm experiencing right now, and I'm all about it. So happy about it. And it's I think it's because there's a lot more trade-ins just coming into the system right now. But I think that's going to be very short-lived, because the trade-ins that a lot of these new car dealers are getting right now, well, there's a lot of pull forward in demand. So that should go away pretty soon. But then on the other end of that, well, that should make used car prices go up. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because if other car dealers are experiencing a very similar thing to what I'm experiencing, where their sales are kind of slow, and all the other dealers that I'm talking to, they are exactly experiencing that. And it's even worse than what we're experiencing, because they didn't have a tax time. I talked to a lot of these car dealers, and I asked them about how their tax time was, and most of them said it was gross. It was the worst. It was the worst tax time that they've ever experienced. So they're even in a more difficult situation than what I'm in, because they probably still have inventory left over from where they loaded up pre-tax time. A lot of dealers do the same thing that I did, and where we traditionally we'll hold 70, 80, 90 cars in our inventory throughout the year, just on the regular time. Well, we bumped it up to 150 something cars to get loaded up for tax time, and then we got wiped out. And that's what most of the time a lot of these car dealers will do. But if they didn't experience the sell-through like we did, we sold just about everything that we had on our lot. If they didn't experience the same kind of sell-through rate, well, now they're stuck with that inventory that's 2-3 months old right now. And now a lot of them have floor plans that they have to satisfy, their credit lines, and now they're paying interest on that stuff that's coming due. And another thing that I've seen at a lot of these car auctions is that there's more floor plan cars that are actually being sold. What that means is those cars that these dealers bought 3-4 months ago in preparation for tax time, they couldn't sell them. Well, now a lot of those cars are getting repossessed from these dealerships by these floor plan companies. Yes, that happens. Usually when you talk about repos, you're talking about cars that get repossessed from consumers because they couldn't make their payments, by these dealerships or by financial institutions, because these consumers just wouldn't make their payments. Dealerships work in a very similar way, where if they're buying these cars on payments, and they, I say payments, but they're borrowing money to do it. But if they can't keep their interest payments up to date, then they can get their cars repossessed too. That's what a lot of these dealerships are actually experiencing right now. But here's the thing: as the market, I got off on a tangent about other car dealers and how they operate. We don't do that. We pay cash for all of our cars. But what I'm experiencing right now is in the $5,000 and under range, and consumers are not buying cars that are $5,000 and under at the same clip that they were. And even before tax time, you think November, December, January, when times were, that's the slowest time of the year for a used car dealer. We were even selling at a higher velocity then than we are right now. And I have arguably better inventory right now, cheaper inventory right now, and we're experiencing more weakness in the market right now than I was even back then. And that's what I'm concerned about, and that's what I've talked about with my sales manager, with Alex, when he's going to go buy cars. We're actually not going to change anything about how he's buying cars, about the levels of what he's paying for cars. Sometimes we'll move the range up or down depending on what the market's doing, if we're slower, if we got too much inventory or whatever. Right now we have a range of about $2,500 of what he can spend at auction. And what that equates to is, me being able to sell cars for $4,000 and under. We try to, throughout the year, we'll try to stay at $5,000 and under, but right now we're even bringing that number down. And what we're going to do with our plan going forward, and what we talked about this morning, is that we're going to cut all of our prices by about $500, and we're actually going to change the time frame of what it takes for us to start cutting our prices. So traditionally, Nate, who is my sales manager, he usually prices our cars. And what he traditionally will do is, if we get a car in for $2,000, that's what we've got in the car, then we'll mark it up to try to make about $1,500 on it. So he'll mark it to $3,500, and then if it doesn't sell in 2-3 weeks, so we don't have a lot of leads on it, whatever, he'll drop it by about $500. Then we go through another couple weeks, and leads on it, no interest, whatever, he'll cut another $500. And we try to stay ahead of the market, and the market is telling us that we pay too much for a car, then we're going to know that pretty quickly. We're going to know it in a couple weeks. But what we want to change now too is everything that we've got on our lot, we were actually holding pretty strong on our prices as far as not cutting them because we didn't have any inventory. But now, since we're able to buy, we can get back to what we were doing, but I even want to accelerate it a little bit because I feel like that $1,500 range, and I'll say on average, all the cars that we sell, we average about $1,200 a car. So that means we're going to sell some and make $1,500. We're going to sell some, make $1,000, some make $500, whatever. But our average out through all the cars, if you take them all, our average profit is about $1,200 a car. I want to pull that down a little bit, maybe get it between $800 and $1,000. So our margins are going to come down, and I want to hopefully make that up in volume. But that's what I'm concerned about. If we do this, but we don't necessarily see a bump in volume, then I could just be costing myself money because that extra $500 that we're actually taking off these cars, we might have been able to sell those cars anyway and still make that. So this is a gamble I'm doing. I feel like though, with us bringing our prices down to where our margins are a little bit less, I'm hoping that we're going to make it up a volume. In either way, even if we don't make it up a volume, we make the exact same amount of money. Anyway, our customers are getting better deals, and that's really what I want to do. I would rather sell a few more cars, make a little bit less money per car, even if we're making the same amount of money, because then we create more customers for later. A lot of our customers that we get are either referrals or repeats, and the cheaper that we have our prices, the more repeats and referrals we do. Hopefully we can stack on top of that. But that's what we're doing. We're cutting our prices here at my dealership because I'm worried, and our sales have been slower, and I want to figure out how to pick them up. So subscribe here and check back with us on our next few videos, and I'll let you know how it goes. And hopefully next week I'll have an update saying, yeah, it worked great and we sold 25 cars in a week, and we're going to continue the system. And hopefully the message next week is not, all right, well, we did that, we were still slow, now we got to figure something else out. So that's what we're doing. But you can keep tabs on me and my dealership just by watching these. Subscribe and hit the notification whatever thing, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think.